Friday evening to you, East Texas. I'm Christel Phillips. We thank you for joining us tonight. Our fun snow day is coming to an end, but icy roads are still on our radar for tonight. The potential for below freezing weather is still in the books, meaning pre-existing melted snow will turn back into ice. Chief Meteorologist Brad Lozak joins us now from the Storm Tracker 9 Weather Center. Good evening to you, East Texas. I'm Christel Phillips. Glad you're with us tonight. A massive East Texas identity theft ring keeps on getting bigger. We started telling you about this theft ring when more than a dozen people were arrested back in May. New information tonight about the disappearance of an East Texas man. An activist and Texas EquiSearch Life team member gathered in Hemphill today with Alfred Wright's family, friends, and co-workers. Quanell X says the family reached out to him in hopes of finding Wright, who has been missing since November 7th. East Texas News 9's Megan Prejean explains why there was a protest tonight at the Sabine County Sheriff's Office. 2 boys and 2 girls. They love each other more than anything, and they hope together they can find a forever family. Our Jennifer Hines introduces us to Caleb, Cassidy, Kylie, and Christopher in tonight's Gift of Love report. A Nacogdoches woman says everything she has is gone after she became a victim of fraud. The 89-year-old woman says she first noticed something was a little off when her bank statements were lower than she expected. And that's when she discovered 32 fraudulent checks were cashed at her bank.
I'm sure a lot of people go, man, where's this warming trend taking place?
Bring it. We're just going to bask in it. Just,
That's right.
All right.
We'll
Thanks
take
so much, Brad.
it.
Through time and through many changes, an East Texas library has been there. Up next on the East Texas News at 10, Diboll's Temple Library celebrates 50 years. Why this milestone means so much to the community. And also coming up, the dangerous obsession becoming common among teen girls worried about the thigh gap. It can lead to eating disorders. KTRE, your East Texas news leader, is back in 60 seconds. Welcome back. Anderson Elementary in Lufkin is defining the new idea of physical education. Kids from grades 3 to 5 have been putting on their skates, knee pads, and helmets as they learn that working out can be fun. East Texas News 9's Michelle Reed has more. Electric bills all over Deep East Texas are skyrocketing, and some say their bills not only doubled but tripled this past billing period. And homeowners say they want to know why. East Texas News 9's Michelle Reed met with a couple of angry folks tonight who say budgeting for a $500 electricity bill is not in their playing cards. The murder of an East Texas mother is now getting national attention, and the FCC is asking major hotel chains to take a closer look at their 911 dialing systems. In December, Carrie Renee Hunt was murdered in a Marshall hotel room. Police say the attacker was Carrie's estranged husband. According to Carrie's family, her young children who witnessed the attack tried calling 911 for help, but they could not get through. That's because the phone required the children to dial 9 first to get an outside line. Tonight, Carrie's family sits down with East Texas News 9's Melanie Torrey to explain where they go from here. And the skies were just beautiful for them today, and for us tonight, a full moon.
Yeah, a full moon, Christel.
MLK Day. This case will resume on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Reporting from the Shelby County Courthouse, Caleb Beams, KTRE, East Texas News 9.
All right, thank you so much, Caleb, for that report tonight. And there is more of the medical examiner's testimony on our website, KTRE.com. Actually, you can read full details from all of the testimony that has happened this week concerning this trial. Again, you can find that on KTRE.com.
Should see overnight lows stay above freezing and well above freezing here over the next 5 to 7 days.
Yeah, but I don't know. This cold weather is a little overrated for me. I'm like ready. I'm ready for spring to come. I'm ready for that to come.
I know.
It's done. I'm done. I'm over this.
I know. I think I have a feeling March and April, people are going to be excited. Should it actually warm up?
Right. All right. Thanks so much, Brad.
You bet.
A family of 7 is homeless tonight following a fire which destroyed their home yesterday. It happened near Garrison in Rusk County. Thanks to Red Cross, the 2 adults and 5 children are tonight safe and warm in the fire rescue house operated by Love in the Name of Christ in Nacogdoches. We learned today Love Inc.'s efforts to reestablish normalcy after the loss of a home for whatever reason is facing a setback. East Texas News 9's Donna McCollum tells us why. Good evening to you, East Texas. I'm Christel Phillips. Glad you're with us tonight. The weather will plunge below freezing again tonight, but this time we don't have to worry about any sleet or snow. Now, we didn't see as much as we did last week, but most of our wintry precipitation from today is moving, or should I say melting on. Thanks, Brad. 3 Nacogdoches women are being considered as the possible masterminds behind a hoax threat towards Woden ISD. And law enforcement have confirmed all 3 individuals are former Woden ISD students. Sheriff Jason Bridges says the post was made on a social media website created to trash anyone the girls did not like. And he says while the post was not intended to cause alarm, it was made in a violent manner. East Texas News 9's Michelle Reed has more. And Brad joins us again. And Brad, I hope everyone enjoyed today, the snow, because it was good to see it. And we're in Texas. We know we don't get to see it often. And this is all we can take. And this is all we needed.
That's right. One day, about every 2 or 3 years,
yes,
is a nice treat.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had to live with this every day. We would feel like the people do up north, which is.
Well, meanwhile, we're learning more about a story you saw first online at KTRE.com. Nacogdoches police detectives are continuing their investigation of the first 2 murders of 2014. The early morning shootings left 2 men dead and another facing capital murder charges. It happened around 4 o'clock this morning at the Eastwood Terrace apartment complex off of E.J. Campbell Boulevard. East Texas News 9's Donna McCollum went straight to the families where she found out the 2 victims and the alleged shooter had friendship and a history of crime in common. Brad joins us now, and Brad, we didn't even get out of the 30s today.
Yeah, old man Winter's being a bully to all of us.
I think so.
I mean, yeah, we did not
it's time for us to stand up.
Yeah, we're going to take a stand, doggone it. And we're going to try to get some warmer weather in here, Christel.
Traffic jams, canceled and delayed flights. Up next on the East Texas News at 10, Old Man Winter's blistery storm sweeps through most of the country, and it could have an effect here in East Texas. Plus, an East Texas couple finally said no to drugs and yes to Christ. The Alfords made it through hard times, and tonight we are calling them survivors. Their story coming up in our Survivors Report. In other news tonight, she always greeted people with a smile, and Stella Boykins was an instant friend with anyone that ever walked into the Nacogdoches Whataburger. Reasons why many were saddened today when they heard that the 57-year-old employee died earlier this week after battling pneumonia. East Texas News 9's Caleb Beams got a chance to visit with a few people who Boykins touched so deeply. Many teen athletes dream about making it to the Super Bowl, and for Isaac Lufkin, yes, that is his name, that dream came true last night when he attended the big game. Isaac is an armless kicker who helped his Rhode Island high school team win a state title that caught the attention of the NFL, who invited him to the Super Bowl as a guest. And Lufkin says he hopes to play for the league someday. Cool name for an awesome young man. Well, that wraps it up for us at 10. We're glad you could join us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Have a good night, folks. Thanks, Brad. According to an independent research study released in March this year, Texas leads the nation in the number of inappropriate relationships between teachers and students. Not soon after that study was released, a former Nacogdoches substitute teacher, Jamar Ballard, was arrested accused of having sexual contact with at least 3 students. He would later plead guilty and in July was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Shortly after learning Ballard's punishment, one of his victims reached out to the East Texas News wanting the opportunity to tell her story to stop this from happening to anyone else. We call her Susan to protect her identity, and she tells me how she feels her trust was violated.
I think that he shouldn't have had to only serve 15 years. He should have to serve all 15 years. Because someone like him shouldn't be out on the streets with anybody's children.
The day I met Susan, she seemed like a typical teenager, laughing, smiling, full of energy. But once we sat down to talk about the day her trust was violated, it's almost like she became another person. She says speaking up wasn't easy.
I was bullied, and there was a bunch of boys that called me names. And a lot of my friends would ask me, oh, you wanted to do it, you shouldn't have told on him, you should just go drop the charges. It was really hard the last part of the school year.
It's a disturbing trend happening far too often in Texas schools. Educators who parents have entrusted with their child's education accused of having inappropriate relationships with students. An ultimate betrayal of trust for parents and students. So far this year alone, there have been 380 national reported cases of inappropriate teacher-student relationships, and 63 cases are in Texas alone. Terry Abbott, a former chief of staff for the U.S. Department of Education, consults with school districts and is conducting the study. He calls these type of relationships an epidemic and says school districts need to do more to stop it.
We're on course for this year, we believe, to average about 2 cases per day in this country, and that is shameful, and we've got to stop it.
Susan wants it to stop too, and she took a brave step to make it happen.
He said, "What's wrong?" And I told him, "How can you make a sub not a sub anymore?" And he said, "Why?" I said, "Because something bad happened." He said, "What happened? You can trust me." And then I told him that Mr. Ballard made me have sex with him in the classroom. And he said, "I think you should go home."
Soon after she spoke up, 2 more students would come forward, telling authorities that Ballard took them off campus to his apartment where they had sexual contact.
If I start to think about what happened, I just think how many kids' lives that I changed because one more person is in jail. And I just look at all the kids around me saying, it could have been one of them, but it wasn't because I spoke up.
The Texas Education Agency is tackling the issue head on. Just last month, the TEA released a report admitting the number of investigations opened by TEA staff specifically on allegations of inappropriate relationships has multiplied. For the 2009-2010 school year, 141 cases reported. For 2012-2013, 163 cases. Abbott says more frequently than we'd like to admit, teachers and other educators are starting private conversations with children on Facebook or by text message, and it goes from there into an inappropriate sexual relationship. Susan says Facebook was how Ballard reached out to her.
He just talked back and forth for a while, and he would tell me which classes he would be subbing in.
Joyce Pitts, primary prevention coordinator for the Family Crisis Center of East Texas, works with several East Texas school districts for a Preventing Teen Violence program. She tells me one aspect of the program focuses on making sure students understand boundaries.
You don't friend them on Facebook or, like what they're saying or, Twitter, follow them on Twitter. You don't do that stuff. It's a boundary thing. You're a student, they're a teacher.
The TEA says that many school districts have adopted social media policies that clearly define appropriate uses for educators, but parents have a responsibility too.
They definitely need to monitor what their kids are doing on social media and with text messaging. In a number of these cases, parents have been the ones who have found text messages between teachers and students or found Facebook messages.
But in the meantime, there is always fear.
I'm afraid there will be another person like him that's hired.
They're supposed to be reliable. But when something like that happens, you just have to rebuild the trust with the school district.
Districts would be very well advised to take concrete steps to ban educators from having private text messages with students. There's no reason to do that. And with so many of these cases starting via text messaging, districts need to outright abolish that. And they need to stop teachers from friending their students on Facebook, because that's where so many of these problems start.
In my interview, Susan made it very clear that her decision to talk about what happened was for the purpose of helping other girls who may be holding themselves hostage because of the actions of a sexual predator.
No matter what, you know the truth. And even if no one believes you, you know in your heart that it's true. And you should come forward and tell someone that you trust, and they will help you through, and they'll get you the help that you need.
It's a matter of trust from a young girl who had the courage to speak up.